Okay, it's been 30 minutes and it's time to do the first set of stretch and folds. Stretch and fold is an alternative, I guess you would say, to kneading. So you want to wet this is a bowl of warm water over here. Okay, and you want to get as much water off of your hand as you can because you don't want to introduce too much water into your dough. And then what you want to do is you want to scrape the side a little bit. You want to go under, you want to pick up, and you want to stretch up, put it over the top. And you're going to stretch up, put it over the top. Stretch up. Okay. So you're stretching it here and then folding it. Stretch it and fold it. Now, a lot of people would stop there. I like to get it starts to get sticky. Once it starts to stick to your hand, you want to rinse as much dough off as you can. Back in the warm water. Shake it off. Now what I like to do is just kind of keep folding it into itself like this. So it starts to make a nice tight ball. And go like this. Now I grab it, pick it up, turn it over. Now it's in a nice tight little ball. Okay. Now we're going to cover it up. And we're going to wait another 30 minutes. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes. And it's time for our second stretch and fold. So you can see it was a nice tight little ball when I put it away, but it's spread out, it's relaxed, it's puffed up a bit. The fermentation's going on. So I'm going to put my hand, just like before, shake it out. And then I'm just going to, it's a little bit tighter this time. Stretch it, fold it over the top. Stretch it over the top. Stretch it. Fold it over the top. Stretch it. Okay. Now we're going to rinse our fingers off in some warm water. And then again, we're just going to work it around. Get into a nice tight little ball. Flip it over. Now you see how it's nice and tight. It's holding its shape. That tells me we are done with the stretch and folds. 2 is enough for this dough. Every once in a while, it might be wetter. Maybe it was a different flour. Maybe sometimes more with the wheat as opposed to the rye. You might not feel a nice tight, like it's holding its shape. It might need a 3rd or even a 4th stretch and fold. But this one, I think 2 is enough. So we're going to set aside, and we're going to set the timer for an hour and a half to finish off the bulk fermentation. We'll take a look and see if it's ready. This needs to be shaped anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours after the stretch and folds are done. So we're going to cover up, and we'll start the timer again. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half now. Let's uncover it up. And if you look, it's got if you can see, it's kind of domed. And we got some bubbles here. Over here, see a little bubble? That's a good sign. I think it's ready to shape. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get a little flour on the top. And gently just spread it around. Okay, and if you go like this, you see it's slowly coming back up again. So it's ready. So we're going to go ahead and shape this dough. Okay, so we're going to shape the dough. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of flour just on this half of my baker's mat. Now this dough that we made today makes 2 loaves of bread. I'm going to take my bowl scraper. It's got a little curved edge here. And turn my dough gently out onto my surface. Okay, done with these two. Now I'm just gonna make this nice and evenly round. And I only do that so that I can, as even as possible, cut this in half. Okay, I'll put just a little bit of flour on my hands. And you saw that I only put flour on this half. I'm going to fold it in on itself. Pinch it just a little bit and turn it over. This is the side I flour. It's sticky underneath and the mat's dry. So now what I'm going to do is just turn, pull the dough like this. And eventually, all the stickiness is going to roll down and up into the bread. So I'm actually taking my hands, pushing a little bit down here and pulling it towards me and rolling it, and it's automatically rolling this way. And as I'm doing this, I don't know if you can see that little bubbles are coming up. That's a great sign. Okay. This is a pre-shake because we're making batards. We're going to use these two banneton baskets here. So it's a pre-shape, that's good enough. Just spread a little flour. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other. Now a little bit of flour that you see here on the top is fine. If you saw a lot of flour, you kind of want to dust that off before you gather this together like that. Okay, turn it over. And now, same thing again, we're just going to gently pull it and let it roll down and under on itself. Okay. Put a little bit of flour down here. If you see any little, there's a little bubble right here, you can just kind of give it a little pop. Okay, and then we'll just sprinkle a little flour on the top like this. Then we're going to let these rest for, I don't know, about 5 minutes. I'm actually going to stop the video, turn around, wash my bowl in my bowl scraper, and then we'll turn around and we'll give these the final shape. Okay, so it's been just a few minutes. I washed up my dishes. I'm going to put a little flour on my hands because they're wet and just get them ready to handle the dough. And I'm going to take my flour and I'm just going to shake a little into my bannetons, proof baskets. This will just keep them from sticking overnight during the cold proofing. Okay, now there's 2 ways that I shape an oval or a batard loaf. I'm going to show you both. We'll start with this one. The first way I had started shaping these, all I'm doing is just kind of spreading the dough out a little bit. Now, we're not degassing like you would on an enriched bread or something, or a punch down. We're actually trying to protect the bubbles a little bit. Okay, so I just kind of spread this out a little bit. And I take one corner and fold down, the other corner, and this they call a saddle. And I roll that over and I just push down with my fingers to seal it. Now I turn it. Do the same thing again, one corner, take the saddle, and we're going to push and seal. Okay, now we just roll it so that the seam is down. Okay, I'm just kind of pulling back just like I did before. Now, these 2 points, fold one under, fold the other under. Now, pull back, turn it, pull back. Got a nice little oval. Now I'm going to pick it up. I want to flour the top of my loaf. Spread it around, turn it. This is going to be the top of the bread when it's done baking. That side goes down. Okay? And the last thing I do is I push down with my finger and then pinch the dough. Seal on the seam here. Okay? Push down, seal on the seam. Okay, just like that. Any little bubbles you see, you can pop them. Okay, now I'm gonna put some flour on the top, smooth it out, cover it with plastic. This one's ready for the refrigerator. Well, that's one way. But the other way I do it, very similar. Rather than pulling down and down the saddle, just fold it 1/3 over, seal it, turn it, and then this time you kind of pull this side over and you go across. And you're sealing it almost like a calzone. Okay, roll it, pull it back a little bit, pull it back a little bit, and then it's identical from here. Take the two ends, fold in, pull it back a little bit, turn it, pull it back a little bit. My hands are a little dry, so I'm gonna put a little flour on there. Now, pick it up. Again, this is the top of the bread when we bake it. Flour it into the Benetton basket, and then we're gonna do the same thing again. Just push down a little bit, push down a little bit. And the only thing this is the pushing down does is it kind of pulls the dough a little bit tighter. I believe it helps with oven spring later on when you bake it. Okay, all sealed up. Flour it, cover it. Now this one is ready. 2 loaves, batards, in their Benetton baskets. These will go in the refrigerator. Right now it's about 5:30 in the afternoon. I'll bake them tomorrow. I'll start my oven around 6. They'll probably go in around 6:30, 6:45. So these will be in the cold proofing for about 13 hours, 13, 14 hours by the time they bake. But these are ready to go. All right, so we're gonna put them in the fridge now, and we'll pick the video back up in the morning when we bake them.